Hello everyone, this is Ben Falcon's Media Corner back again with another double AK After a Saw Review episode for today. And for this episode, for my double AK After a Saw Review series, today I'm going to talk about two films I saw that were released by Focus Features. And for these two reviews I'm going to talk to you guys about are Stillwater and Last Night in Soho. So let's kick off with Stillwater. Now, this was directed by Tom McCarthy, director of Spotlight, which I haven't seen that film, but I've heard a lot of good things about that film. And this movie tells the story about this oil worker named Bill Baker, played by Matt Damon, who he goes to France to basically try and help his daughter, named Allison, played by Abigail Breslin, who she has been accused of murder of her roommate, and she is claiming that she's innocent, that she did not commit this crime. And basically, we see Bill trying to basically investigate more about this this whole case that about his daughter, and in his own way as well as handling himself his own way. So that's pretty much the story of Stillwater. So for myself, going into Stillwater, I didn't see the trailer or anything on release day when the movie was about to come out. I did see the trailer though on the day before I was going to go and see the movie, which I went to see this back in August. I did see it after it was released, a couple of days after it was originally released. I just didn't know when to see it because I didn't even know like what I was going to go and see next after I saw some big stuff I did see back in July and August, like Jungle Cruise and the Suicide Squad and all that. So yeah, I just didn't even know when I was going to go and see it. But for all that, I knew some of the cast in this film. You've got Oscar winner Matt Damon, which he's a great actor. He's one of my favorite actors to this day. And you've got Abigail Breslin, which I don't see her in much works, but I do think she's a talented actress though. And for, like I said, for Tom McCarthy, who directed this movie Stillwater, he also directed, like I said, Spotlight, which I haven't seen that, but I've heard a lot of good things about that film though. So I do want to check it out though, because I've heard some good things though. So like I said, I went to see this back in August, and the 11th of August. And after walking out the film, I did enjoy this movie. This is a pretty good movie overall. It's not by means a great film or anything, because there was some minor nitpicks of like issues that they have, but Matt Damon is of course great in the movie. He gives a really good performance, like he always does for his movies. And Abigail Breslin, I thought she was pretty good as well in the movie. I thought both of them together in the movie, there's a few scenes when they're together in this movie, I thought was pretty strong enough. And all the other actors, for the most part, they were also good too. Like you've got this like the actress who played this teacher of sorts, and as well as the young daughter. I thought they were both I thought both of them gave strong performances too. As for its direction by Tom McCarthy, I thought he did a really good job of making a well-made movie, because it is set in France, and we do get to see some moments that does provide a few scenes that tend to be gritty and dark, pretty dark and gritty. Because I thought the movie was really going to be just a dark, gritty crime thriller, but unfortunately, to me, the theme, the theme wasn't all over the place or a mess or anything. I just thought it was originally what I was expecting it to be, just being, you know, a dark, gritty crime thriller, but it's mainly being sort of like a dramatic film though. But it is good to see, but there were some scenes that tend to be, you know, dark and gritty, which I thought were pretty shocking for a few scenes. I did not see coming when I was watching it. It just came out of the blue, and I was like, Jesus Christ, when I was watching it. And the pacing as well, kind of found it a little bit draggy, despite this movie's only 2 hours and 19 minutes. But it does pick up its time though to get to some scene that is very important. Like we have to see like what's gonna happen to this girl, what's gonna happen to her. Is she going down for this crime that she's saying that she did not commit or anything like that? And we're seeing, did she really commit this crime or not? There were some good scenes I thought were that were handled pretty well for its length, for the pacing. While there's a few other scenes I just kind of found the pacing a bit kind of draggy for the most part. But in the end though, Stillwater, I had a good time with the film overall. But if you're a fan of Matt Damon, I would definitely recommend this film for those who are a diehard fan of Matt Damon overall. So I would give Stillwater 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now let's move on to Last Night in Soho. Now this movie, this was written and directed by Edgar Wright, the man behind the Cornetto trilogy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and of course Baby Driver. And this is a new different take for him, because most of his movies have, you know, high energetic comedic style to them, like what he did with the Cornetto trilogy, Baby Driver, and Scott Pilgrim. This one is mostly a psychological horror thriller, where if you follow this inspiring fashion designer named Eloise, who's played by Thomasin McKenzie, who she moves out of the countryside from her grandmother, where she goes to basically live in the big streets of London, where she wants to basically, you know, show everyone her inspiring fashion designs, which her designs mostly involve the 60s era. And basically she starts to settle in at London with an apartment full of other students who are inspiring to be fashion designers. But she moves out, and she gets her own apartment, which is run by an old woman. And once Thomasin McKenzie's character Eloise starts to settle in at night, when she goes to sleep, she starts to experience some crazy, dark, trippy stuff in this movie. Like, once she goes to sleep, she finds herself that she is seeing this girl named this wannabe singer, who's this girl named Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who wants to be a singer at a nightclub. And then a few things start to happen that's pretty dark, trippy, and creepy at the same time. And then it gets too much for Eloise, and we see her trying to figure out what is going on and what she has to do and why she has something to do involving with this girl. So that's pretty much the story of Last Night in Soho. Now for this one, I was really excited for this movie, because for Edgar Wright's projects, I think all his projects are absolutely fun movies to watch. Shaun of the Dead is easily my favorite of his works. It still is my favorite Edgar Wright project, in my opinion. While some may have different favorites of his movies. Well, personally, I think Shaun of the Dead is my favorite. It's just, you know, an absolutely entertaining and hilarious zombie comedy. Hot Fuzz was also really awesome as well. I had a lot of fun with Hot Fuzz, and with The World's End, I do think it's a great movie. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I really enjoyed that one, although I don't hear much people talk about that to this day. But there's a few people I do kind of hear who do talk about it, but I do think that is a really good movie though. And Baby Driver is a really fun, awesome movie with Ansel Elgort and all that. I had a lot of fun with Baby Driver overall. It's a really awesome movie. It was really close to being my favorite of his movies, but I put that in my number 2 spot for my ranking of his movies. So when the trailers dropped by for this film, I was really looking forward to seeing this movie, because I was surprised with the cast who I knew who were in this movie. You've got Thomasin McKenzie from Jojo Rabbit, and she also did a movie that was released this year called Old from M. Night Shyamalan, which I will review that. And you've got Anya Taylor-Joy. Ever since I started watching her in a few things, she's become like a new star to Hollywood since 2015. And I started seeing her in like newer projects like since Split, and I started seeing her in other things like Glass, Emma, The New Mutants, The Witch, and all that kind of stuff. I do think she's become a great actress ever since, and I absolutely adore her. And you've got Matt Smith, who you may know him as the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who. And you've got Terrance Stamp from the original Superman movies as General Zod. So I was really looking forward to watching this. And I didn't see this on release day because I was busy with my family at the time. So I went to see this after I've had my day off of work. I went to see this on Halloween night, which that was a great treat to see, you know, a horror film that's on Halloween. So I went to see this on Halloween night, like I said, and after walking out of the film, I had a lot of fun with Last Night in Soho. This movie was so awesome. Now, is this movie as awesome as Baby Driver and Shaun of the Dead? No, it's not. But I still had a lot of fun with this movie overall. This movie was just thrilling. It was such a provoking, thrilling, creepy, and sort of a trippy film, really, because the direction of this movie by Edgar Wright, his new different take on this movie from what we usually see as movies being, you know, high energetic and everything, for his, you know, comedic movies he usually does. For his new different take on a movie like this, I thought he did an amazing job here, and he he did a phenomenal job of that. And I would love to see him do more other projects in the future if he likes to do anything like this outside of his, you know, his usual comedic style of direction and editing style as well. And the costume designs are gorgeous. The sets are amazing to represent like the 60s era of London. And the music is great. The story, it was a bit complicated though to understand what was going on at first. But when as soon as the film was about to pick up to finish off and all that, and then builds up to a finale, which I won't spoil for those who have not seen the film. I won't say like what happens, like who dies or anything like that. I'm not going to say what that is, because if anyone wants to see this film, it will be coming out in physical media pretty soon. If you missed your chance to see this in the cinemas, though, but if you have seen it in the cinemas and you want, if you still want me to say it, I'm still not going to say it because, again, spoilers. So, yeah, but I did manage to understand the story because it was a pretty complex story and it was very tricky to understand for what was going on. But I managed to know what was going on, though. Like I said, towards the end of the finale of this film, overall. And as for the cast in the film, you've got Thomasin McKenzie as the main character. I thought she was terrific in the movie, and she gives another terrific performance since her entertaining performance in Jojo Rabbit. And Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Sandy, I thought she was stunning in the film, and she was again terrific. Like since like I've seen her in Split, and I started seeing her role that everyone considered her best, which is the witch. I thought she was terrific in the movie as well. And you've got Matt Smith, who you may know him as the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who. He was great in the film as the character of Jack, which there is a twist and turn for this character, which I won't say who he is, what he has something to do with the storyline of, as well as the character of Eloise. When we do see her start to experience some terrifying, haunting stuff that's happening to her, and then crazy shit happens and all that. And Terrance Stamp, who you may know him as, like I said, General Zod in the original Superman movies, the 2 original films. He was also great in the film. All the acting for the most part were all great. And I've got no other complaint in the movie overall, other than its sort of confusing story of sorts. But I did manage to understand the whole story after I started to since I got back to my work. I did see a few people who started seeing a few customers at my job when they wanted to see who were seeing the film, and I was doing a few screen checks. I did manage to understand what was going on. The story is really intriguing though, and really clever and creative by Edgar Wright. It's just at first it was a bit confusing, but I soon started to manage to understand what was going on though. But in the end, I thought this movie was awesome from beginning to end. And again, I would love to see Edgar Wright do anything like this in the future, because I do think he has potential doing something like this in the future. Just like, he just kind of reminded me like what Jordan Peele did, from being, you know, a funny comedian to doing, you know, horror films like Get Out and Us, and of course the upcoming Nope, which I'm looking forward to next year. So if you're a fan of Edgar Wright films, or if you're a fan of the main cast in the film, Thomasin McKenzie, Anya Taylor-Joy, Matt Smith, or anyone at all, this is obviously a huge recommendation here by myself. So I'm going to give Last Night in Soho a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Yep, absolutely deserves this rating. I would also give that rating to, like I said, to Baby Driver and all that. I wouldn't say this is better than Baby Driver, and I even wouldn't say this is even better than Shaun of the Dead in my opinion. Well, some people do have different opinions on what their favorite Edgar Wright film is, which I completely respect. But this one is still an awesome flick, and again, I would really recommend this film for those who are a massive fan of horror, just like myself, or if you're just a fan of the director himself or the cast, who you may know who were involved with this project. So thank you guys so much for watching for my double A After a Saw review on both on Stillwater and Last Night in Soho. And let me know what you think of any of these movies if you did see this already. For Stillwater, did you enjoy it, or did you not really appreciate it? And for Last Night in Soho, did you had an awesome time with it, or were you just massively let down with this film? And also let me know what you think. What is your favorite Edgar Wright film? I would like to hear what what is your favorite Edgar Wright film, because again, mine is Shaun of the Dead. So stay tuned for more reviews coming soon, and I will do some more videos towards the end of the year. I will do my best and the worst of the year list once I see more like other films that I've heard people talking about that I consider the best and all that of this year. So I've got a couple more I do want to see. Especially, I do want to see Come On, Come On, and other stuff as well that was released on Netflix that I didn't get, that I haven't gotten around time to watch, but I will check them out soon, so don't worry. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.